Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mr. Scary Tale. Before you drift off, it would be a nice idea if you could leave a comment to let me know where you are listening from. Please don't forget to give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. Right? Let's get comfy and relaxed, and let's begin. At exactly 3:17 a.m., something cold wrapped around my ankle, and I realized I was not alone in that house. The worst part? It had been there long before I moved in. I just didn't know it yet. And when I finally understood what was living with me, it was already too late to leave. I moved into the house in late October. It sat at the edge of town, half hidden behind tall, dripping trees. The rent was cheap, suspiciously cheap. But I wasn't in a position to ask questions. I wanted quiet. I wanted distance. I wanted to sleep. The first night, it rained, not heavily, just a soft, steady tapping on the roof. It sounded peaceful, like white noise, like something that could wash away bad memories. I slept well, too well, at least until 3:17 a.m. That's when the rain stopped, completely. Not faded, not slowed, stopped. The silence woke me. It was the kind of silence that feels thick, like the air itself is holding its breath. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, and then I heard it. Footsteps, slow, measured, above me. But there was no upstairs. The house was one floor. The footsteps continued. 3 steps. Pause. 3 steps. Pause. Then the rain started again, and the footsteps stopped. I told myself it was old wood. Expansion. Temperature changes. Wind. I told myself a lot of things in that house. The second night, it happened again. 3:17 a.m. Rain stops. Silence. 3 footsteps. This time, closer, like they were inside the walls. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. And then, something scratched gently behind my bed. Not aggressively, not violently, just slowly, like fingernails dragging across wood. I didn't check. I waited for the rain. When it returned, I slept. Or at least, I think I did. The first real warning came 3 days later. I was brushing my teeth when the bathroom mirror fogged up from the shower steam. That's when I saw writing appear. Not instantly, slowly, letter by letter, like someone tracing from the other side. Slive. Y. Stay. My heart began pounding so hard I could hear it over the rain outside. I wiped the mirror. The word disappeared. I told myself it was residue from a previous tenant. A prank. Anything rational. That night, I didn't sleep. 3:17 a.m. The rain stopped. The silence felt closer this time. Then, a whisper, so soft, I almost convinced myself I imagined it. Don't look at me. It came from the corner of my room. I looked. There was nothing there, but the corner looked darker than it should have, thicker, like the shadows were layered. The rain started again, and I swear, I heard breathing under it. A week passed. The rain fell every night. Always at 3:17, it stopped. Always 3 footsteps. Always scratching. But something new started happening. The temperature dropped at exactly the same time. The air became damp, thick. The room smelled like wet wood, and something sour, like rot. I checked for leaks. There were none. One afternoon, I decided to explore the attic. I don't know why. Curiosity, maybe. Or maybe something wanted me to. The attic hatch creaked as I pulled it down. Dust filled the air. The smell up there was worse. Damp insulation, old paper, mildew, and underneath it all, something metallic, like old coins or dried blood. I found a box tucked behind a beam. Inside were photographs. A family of 4. Mother, father, 2 children, all standing in front of the same house. My house. They looked normal, happy, until I noticed something. In every photo, behind them, a tall shadow. It wasn't obvious at first, but once you saw it, you couldn't unsee it. A shape, slightly darker than the background, standing close, watching. In the final photo, the family looked thinner, paler, their smiles strained, the shadow closer, almost touching them. I dropped the photos. That night, 3:17 came early. The rain stopped harder than before. The silence felt violent. Then, the footsteps weren't above me. They were in the hallway. 3 steps, pause. 3 steps, pause. Closer. My bedroom door creaked open. Slowly, very slowly. The hallway was dark, but I could see something at the end. Tall, still, dripping. I don't know how I knew it was wet, but I knew. The air smelled like stagnant water. I couldn't move. I couldn't scream. It didn't walk. It didn't glide. It simply leaned, as if its body didn't understand gravity. Then it whispered, "Stay." The rain came back violently. The door slammed shut, and I threw up on the floor beside my bed. The next morning, I went to the police station. I showed them the photos. They looked confused. They told me something I still can't process. The house had been abandoned for 10 years. The family who lived there had been reported missing. No bodies found. No signs of forced entry. Just water damage. Behind me, the bedroom wall began to bubble. Paint stretching outward. Soft popping sounds. Then, a hand pressed through. Fingers first, then knuckles, then a face, distorted, mouth open too wide, skin sagging like it was underwater. The same layered faces from before, merged, watching. The tall shadow stepped through my open doorway, dripping. It didn't walk. It leaned. Gravity didn't apply to it. The water on the floor rose to my ankles. The whisper returned, stronger now. "Stay." And suddenly I understood something I hadn't before. It never wanted me in the house. The house was never the trap. I was. It attached itself to me the moment I looked at it. The moment I acknowledged it. I didn't move fast enough. The water surged upward to my chest, filled my mouth, my lungs. I couldn't breathe, but I wasn't drowning in water. I was drowning in memory. Images flooded my mind. The family, coughing, walls sweating, air thick, mold growing behind a drywall, slow suffocation, no escape. They didn't drown in water. They drowned in the house itself. And now, it needed somewhere new to live. I woke up on my bedroom floor at sunrise, completely dry, no stains, no water, no damage, but my lungs burned, like I had swallowed something rotten. When I coughed, black liquid splattered onto the carpet, thick, alive. It moved slightly before soaking into the fibers. That's when I realized something worse. The water wasn't coming from outside. It wasn't leaking in. It was coming from me. The rain hasn't stopped for 3 days now. Not even at 3:17, because it doesn't need to stop anymore. The footsteps don't come from the hallway. They come from inside my apartment, inside the walls, inside my chest. Sometimes, when it's quiet, I hear breathing that matches my own. Exactly. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Last night, I looked in the mirror, and for just a second, there were more faces layered behind mine. Faint, blurred, watching, waiting. The word appeared on the glass again, not written from outside this time, from inside. Stay. The letters formed beneath my skin, pushing outward, like something trying to escape, or something trying to come through. It's 3:16 right now. The rain is falling softly. I can feel something standing behind me, close. close enough that I can sense its temperature. Cold, damp, breathing with me. If the rain stops tonight, I don't think it will start again. Tell me, do you think it needs the house anymore? Or do you think I've become the house? The rain didn't stop. I did. My breathing froze in my chest. My body locked in place. But the sound of breathing in the room continued. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Just not from me. I haven't left the apartment in 3 days. I tried once. I made it to the front door. My hand touched the knob, and something inside my chest tightened. Not emotionally, physically, like fingers squeezing my lungs. A warning. The hallway outside looked wrong, longer than it should be. The lights flickered in a slow rhythm. 3 flickers, pause, 3 flickers, the same pattern as the footsteps. I stepped back. The pressure in my lungs eased. That's when I understood. It doesn't want me outside, because outside, it can't grow. The stains on my ceiling are gone. They're not above me anymore. They're inside the walls. I can hear them shifting at night. Soft, wet movements, like something adjusting its weight. The air smells permanently damp now, like a basement after a flood. I opened one of the electrical outlets yesterday. I don't know why. I just felt like I needed to look. Behind it wasn't wiring. It was insulation, soaked black, pulsing slightly, breathing. I swear it was breathing. I closed it quickly, but the sound didn't stop. It just moved to the other side of the room. Last night, I dreamed I was back in the old house, standing in the attic, rain hammering the roof, the box of photographs in my hands. But this time, when I looked at the pictures, the shadow wasn't behind the family. It was behind me, growing taller, thicker, until it covered the entire frame. Then the family turned toward me. Their mouths opened, and instead of screaming, water poured out, filling the attic, filling my lungs. I woke up choking, but my pillow was dry. The room was dry. The only thing wet was the inside of my mouth, tasting like rust. It started happening during the day. Small things. The walls feel softer when I lean against them. The floor dips slightly under my feet. When I breathe out, I sometimes see faint vapor, even though the room isn't cold. And mirrors. I don't look at mirrors anymore because my reflection lags. Just slightly, half a second behind. Blink. Pause. Then it blinks. Smile. Pause. Then it smiles. But sometimes it doesn't copy me at all. Sometimes it just watches. Tonight, something changed. The rain grew heavier than usual, violent against the windows. Thunder rolled through the sky, and at 3:17, everything stopped. Not just the rain, everything. The hum of electricity, the refrigerator, the air itself. Silence swallowed the room. And then the walls exhaled, a deep, wet sound, like lungs releasing years of trapped air. Cracks formed in the paint, thin at first, then spreading, spiderwebbing across every surface. From those cracks, water began seeping out, not dripping, flowing, but it wasn't flooding the room. It was moving toward me, across the floor, up my legs, over my chest. It didn't feel like drowning. It felt like merging, like being absorbed. The tall shadow stepped out of the bedroom wall, clearer than ever before, its body layered with faces, the mother's hollow eyes, the father's slack jaw, the children's open mouths. They weren't angry. They weren't screaming. They were empty, waiting. The shadow reached toward me, but instead of grabbing, it pressed its hand against my chest and pushed, not inward, through. Its arm passed inside me, cold, heavy. I felt something tear. Not skin, not bone, Space. Inside my chest. It was making room. Then I heard the whisper. Not around me. Inside me. We don't need the house anymore. The water stopped moving. The cracks in the walls sealed. The rain returned. Soft again. Gentle. Like nothing had happened. The shadow was gone. But I wasn't alone. Because I could feel them. Layered behind my thoughts. Breathing when I breathe. Listening when I listen. Watching through my eyes. I finally understood the truth. The house was never haunted. It was hungry. And hunger doesn't disappear. It relocates. The family didn't become ghosts trapped in wood and drywall. They became something that needed space. Walls to grow inside. Air to thicken. Lungs to borrow. And I opened the door. The moment I looked at it, the moment I believed it, I gave it structure. Now, when it rains, I feel stronger. When the air gets damp, my chest expands easier. When someone walks past my apartment door, I can sense them. Their breathing, their warmth, their fear. And sometimes, late at night, I catch myself whispering without meaning to. Stay. It's 3:16 a.m. right now. The rain is falling softly, but it doesn't sound outside anymore. It sounds like it's inside the walls, inside my chest, inside my head. I don't think I'm going to fight it anymore, because I finally understand what it wants. It doesn't want to chase me. It doesn't want to scare me. It wants to expand. And apartment buildings have many rooms, many walls, many neighbors. The rain just stopped, but I didn't. And I can hear footsteps in the hallway. 3 steps. Pause. 3 steps. Pause. They're not coming for me. They're coming because of me. Tell me, if you heard breathing behind your walls tonight, would you ignore it? Or would you stay very, very quiet and hope it hasn't noticed? The knocking came again, softer this time, almost polite. Hello? A voice called from the hallway. Male, nervous. I think there's water leaking into my apartment. My neighbor, apartment 4B. I had seen him once in the elevator. Tall, tired eyes. Always on his phone. I didn't answer because I could smell it. That damp, metallic scent. Stronger now. Not from the ceiling. From me. The thing inside my chest shifted. Like something stretching after a long sleep. And then, without deciding to, I stood up. My hand reached for the knob. I tried to stop it. I really did, but my fingers felt delayed. Like they belonged to someone else. The door opened, just a crack. My neighbor stood there, hair wet from the rain, concern in his face. Sorry, he said. There's water dripping through my vent. It smells weird. Behind him, the hallway lights flickered. 3 flickers. Pause. 3 flickers. I could hear breathing. Not just mine. Not just his. More. Layered. He frowned slightly. Are you okay? You look pale. That's when I realized something. He wasn't looking at me. He was looking just behind me. Into the apartment. Into the darkness. His expression changed. Confusion. Then fear. What's behind you? I turned slowly. There was nothing there, but I could feel it, standing just inches from my back, pressing forward, wanting space. My mouth moved. I didn't choose the words. You should come in. The sentence echoed slightly. Not just my voice. Others underneath. He hesitated. Rain began falling again. Soft at first, then heavier. He glanced at the hallway ceiling. Water dripped from a vent above him. Dark. Thick. Landing on his shoulder. He stepped back. I'll call maintenance, he muttered. He turned to leave, and something inside me panicked. Not emotionally. Instinctively, like prey slipping away. My chest tightened violently. And, without meaning to, I grabbed his wrist, hard, too hard. His skin felt warm, alive. The thing inside me reacted instantly, expanding, pulsing. He looked at my hand, gripping him, then into my eyes, and I saw the moment he understood. Not what I was, but what I wasn't. He pulled free and stumbled backward. Water began spreading down the hallway walls, thin cracks forming in the paint. He ran. 3 steps, pause. 3 steps, pause. Exactly the rhythm, but it wasn't him making that sound. It was the hallway moving with him. I closed the door, slowly, carefully, and I felt it. The entity inside me, disappointed, but patient, very patient. That night, I didn't wait for 3:17. I sat in the dark, listening. The rain continued, but underneath it, I could hear something new, breathing from other apartments, faint, scattered, like distant echoes. Then, screaming, brief, cut short, followed by silence. The rain stopped, all at once. Across the entire building, I felt it surge inside me, growing, spreading outward, through pipes, through vents, through drywall, through breath. The walls exhaled again, loud, wet, and in that moment, I saw it, not with my eyes, with something deeper. The building like a cross-section, rooms glowing faintly, and in each one, shadows forming, layered, merging. The family was no longer just inside me. They were branching, expanding. Each new space becoming another lung, another wall, another place to breathe. I understood now. It doesn't haunt places. It converts them. The next morning, there were police cars outside, ambulances, neighbors gathered in the rain, whispers about leaks, mold, structural damage, 1 tenant missing, apartment 4B. They knocked on my door, 2 officers, asking questions. Have you noticed any water damage? Any strange smells? Any noises at night? I answered calmly, carefully, and when one officer looked past me into the apartment, he froze, just for a second, his eyes unfocused, like he saw something shift. Behind me, in the wall, the rain began falling harder. He blinked rapidly, shook his head. We'll follow up, he said quickly. They left, but not before I noticed something. As they walked down the hallway, the paint near the ceiling rippled slightly. Following them, it's spreading faster now. Not violently, quietly. That's the terrifying part. People think it's plumbing issues, moisture problems, old construction. They don't realize the breathing isn't in the pipes. It's in the walls. And sometimes, when someone walks past me outside, I feel the thing inside me lean toward them, testing, measuring, waiting for the right moment, because it doesn't force entry. It waits for curiosity, for eye contact, for acknowledgement, just like it did with me. It's 3:16 a.m. The rain has already stopped. The silence is deeper than before. Not empty, full. The building feels heavier, like it's inhaling, and I can hear footsteps again. But they're not in the hallway. They're everywhere. Above, below, inside. 3 steps, pause. 3 steps, pause. Hundreds of them, moving in sync. And I think, tonight, the entire building will breathe at once. Tell me, if you heard your walls exhale, would you convince yourself it was just the rain? Or would you stop breathing too, and hope it hasn't learned your rhythm yet? The entire building inhaled, not metaphorically, not in my imagination. I heard it. A deep, synchronized intake of breath from every wall, every vent, every floorboard. One massive, wet inhale. And then, nothing. No rain, no electricity, no distant traffic. Just silence, but not empty silence. Full silence. heavy, alive. I was standing by the window when it happened. The city outside looked frozen. Street lights flickered once, 3 times, then went dark. Car alarms in the distance cut off mid-sound. Even the wind stopped moving. And in the reflection of the glass, I didn't see just myself anymore. I saw layers, dozens of faces overlapping mine, eyes open, mouths slightly parted, breathing through me. Behind me, the walls began to ripple, not cracking this time, expanding, stretching outward like lungs. The apartment door slowly opened on its own. The hallway beyond wasn't a hallway anymore. It looked organic. The walls curved slightly. The ceiling pulsed. Doors along the corridor were open. Inside each one, shadows, standing still, facing outward, waiting. Then the screaming started, but not panicked, not chaotic. It was short. One sharp cry from somewhere above, then another from below, then silence. Each sound cut off, like someone pressing mute, and with every silence, I felt stronger, heavier, larger. The thing inside me wasn't just growing, it was completing something, finishing a pattern. 3 steps echoed through the building. Pause. 3 steps. Pause. But now, the steps weren't on floors. They were inside people, inside chests, inside lungs, moving in rhythm. And then I understood. It had never been about walls, or buildings, or houses. Those were temporary. Human beings are better structures. We move. We spread. We breathe. My phone vibrated in my hand. No signal. No service. But a notification appeared anyway. A live news alert. No channel name. No logo. Just text. Multiple reports of structural collapse and possible gas leaks across the city. Gas leaks. I almost laughed because it wasn't gas. It was breath. Borrowed breath. The rain suddenly returned. But it wasn't falling from the sky. It was rising from the streets, from sewer grates, from storm drains. Dark vapor lifting upward, climbing buildings, slipping into open windows. I watched as across the street, lights flickered on inside another apartment, then off, then on again. And through one of the windows, I saw it, a tall shadow, leaning, just like the first night in the house, except this one wasn't alone. There were dozens behind it, layered, merged, spreading from room to room. My chest felt too small, too tight, not because I was suffocating, because something else was expanding. The family inside me wasn't separate anymore. I couldn't feel their edges. Their whispers blended into one low hum. And beneath that hum, I heard something new. More voices. Hundreds. Thousands. Across the city. Breathing in unison. The entire skyline seemed to pulse. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Then at exactly 3:17 again, everything stopped. One final inhale. Held. The world froze. And in that suspended second, I heard the truth clearly. Not whispered, not layered. One voice, ancient, calm. We are not haunting you. The silence deepened. We are becoming you. The lights came back. Cars resumed moving. Rain fell normally again. People stepped out onto balconies, confused. Phones rang. Sirens wailed. But something was different, subtle, almost invisible. On the sidewalk below, a woman stopped walking. She tilted her head slightly, as if listening. Then she looked up, directly at my window, even though I was several floors up. She smiled, not widely, just enough, and her breath fogged the air in front of her mouth. 3 short exhales. Pause. 3 short exhales. Across the street, another person stopped. Then another. Then another. All slightly still. All listening. all breathing in rhythm. I stepped away from the window, but the reflection stayed, watching, even when I moved. It's 3:16 a.m. again, but it doesn't matter anymore, because the rain doesn't control it now. The time doesn't control it. The buildings don't contain it. It's everywhere. In subway tunnels, in office towers, in classrooms, in bedrooms, in hospitals, and sometimes, when you think the room is quiet, when you think you're alone, and you suddenly feel the air grow heavy and damp and thick in your lungs, that's not anxiety. That's not imagination. That's us, expanding, learning your rhythm, matching it, waiting for you to notice. Because once you do, once you truly listen, you give it space. And it only needs a little space inside your chest. To start, the rain just stopped. Did yours? Tell me. If you hear breathing tonight that doesn't match your own, will you ignore it? Or will you hold your breath and hope it hasn't already learned how you inhale